Hey, Kevin.
Hey, Daniel, nice to see you.
Nice
How
to
are
see
you
you.
doing?
I'm doing all right. You?
I'm doing well, thanks. Generally speaking, obviously, I feel like talking about running a gallery during COVID is such an expansive topic. And I feel like because of the different waves and the different, provincial and federal and all these different things going on, I don't kind of really think of it as one unified thing, but kind of lots of little things put together. And I'd just be curious to hear a little bit more about kind of outside affairs and stuff, but just in terms of the programming that you're actually doing at the gallery and what kind of the last, let's call it, I guess, 12 to 18 months have been like.
I don't think I've wrapped my head around it,
For sure.
only because it was such a shift in how we had to think. And, the challenge was, how do you stay engaged with your collector base, your audience, your artists? And how do
Mhm.
you maintain a level of engagement that still feels authentic? Because, everyone is trying to reach out and do virtual things that you sort of get inundated. So, what feels appropriate and, yeah, sincere? Yeah, I was kind of grateful for the slower pace just to kind of really assess, because we've been, it's our 10th year. So it was nice to just kind of take time to reflect on what we've been doing
For
and kind of how
sure.
to move forward. So I'm
For
kind
sure.
of grateful actually for that space.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the things that you just said really resonate with me. I think, a big challenge for us and something that I think we all faced is, something that I've definitely admired about your program is that it's definitely got kind of a very international outlook as well. And so for us, we had shows with artists from Los Angeles and Portugal and even, closer to home, like Connecticut and places like that, and not being able to have the artists come and spend time with us and spend time with their work in the space. I think that's something that felt like a really, it just felt sad for lack of a better term.
Did you stick to the same exhibition schedule that you had set prior to this, or were your deadlines fluid? Your exhibition date
Yeah.
fluid?
Yeah, things were fluid. I mean, we were pretty good about keeping an exhibition schedule, but we definitely kind of push some dates and move some things around. I mean, how did it kind of affect you as someone who, obviously has kind of a larger roster and has probably a more kind of established timeline in terms of exhibitions and thinking about that?
Dates were meaningless
Yes.
after yeah, because we had, just before everything hit, we had been at the Armory in 2020. Well, we
Yeah.
had been in Madrid for a fair, then to the Armory. So we literally left these cities days before they locked down. So it was just
Yeah.
like we were just ahead of the wave.
Yeah.
And when we came back, we were installing a show of Kristine Moran, and it's this incredible new body of work that she, and we were just like, we can't, we put it up, and then
Yeah.
we realized that no one was going to see it. So we were just like, okay, it's just going to stay up as
Yeah.
long as it needs. And if at that point we thought it'd be 2 weeks,
Sure.
not three
Sure.
months.
Yeah.
So then we basically just extended all of our shows and just kind of went with the flow.
Yeah.
And so that every show that we did at least had 4 weeks of people being able to see it in
That's
person.
great. Yeah.
Because every show that we ended up doing was just like, I don't know, it felt, we also did like our first show with June Clark. We did
Yeah.
shows on Rick's Häussler. It was like works that haven't been seen in 30 years. So then to put them up and for them not to be seen again.
Yeah.
So it was just like, and then we tried to just augment it with online things. We've done some fairs that have just gone like digital.
Yeah.
And, when they try and do 3-dimensional things or whatever, it's hard to put up sculpture, or it's hard to do. So it really, so I have to say that's why I'm excited to be, Art Toronto,
In
physically
person. Yeah.
installing a booth and kind of taking work for people to see again in person.
Yeah, why don't you, I mean, I would be very interested to kind of hear about your plans for Art Toronto, potentially what you're interested in bringing, if you're comfortable divulging that and talking a little bit more about kind of your thoughts in regards to that fair specifically.
Yeah, it's a work in progress at the moment.
Yeah,
We're working through it.
of course.
But I think because we do a few fairs internationally
Yeah.
in cities that aren't familiar with my program or the
Yeah,
artists necessarily. So I think we always go with a much more focused booth and grouping of works or artists to
sure.
those fairs. With Art Toronto, I think we have the luxury that a lot of the most of the collectors, although there's always new people that we meet, um, already know or have a context for many of the artists that we represent. So we will probably take a work by almost all of the artists,
Yeah,
maybe not all of them, but it's a much more expansive group exhibition.
yeah,
We're chatting with them now about what might be in the studio, what's new. Although in the previous years, I'd always taken like something new by each artist, and we
yeah.
started to shift that because I don't know, sometimes an earlier work from a few years ago needs to be re-seen, and in the context of what the other artists are doing, takes on a completely different, a different context and can
For
be
sure.
re-seen in a different way. So it'll be some new works with some older works, and then we'll do the online component as well, and then we might do like a part two to the booth in our viewing room at the
Sounds
gallery.
great.
But yeah, as of now, it'll be some new works by Derek Liddington, Kristine. We're going to have a new tapestry by Shannon Bool.
Fantastic.
A smaller work by Nadia Bellery because she's busy working on a big museum show for New York. So yeah, but I'm excited about it. It's always exciting to see all the artists together and to kind of see relationships between all of them.
Yeah, I imagine kind of getting that ability to step back and see those kind of connective threads that, run throughout the program and how the works engage with one another and kind of speak to one another. I can see how that would be very, very satisfying. So.
And what do you what's your plan for the fair?
Yeah, so we're gonna do it's gonna be a two-person booth with an artist we work with regularly and represent, Tristan Unrau, who's a kind of younger Canadian painter who's originally from Vancouver but has been in LA for the past kind of 5 or 6 years. And then we're pairing him with a painter we haven't worked with previously, named Jacob Todd Bersaud. And the thing that I think is kind of interesting about we're going to be presenting work that has kind of been made over the past 18 months from both of them. And the theme that I was thinking about with both of their practices, relating to our previous discussion over the past 18 months, I think a lot of people have looked for ways to find meaning in the exterior world, and kind of recognizing that certain things they've had less access to them. And then also lots of people have kind of taken it as an opportunity to look within themselves and kind of this kind of idea of your interior world, and the kind of, showcasing paintings that kind of look at those two things. So
That sounds exciting.
yeah, I think it'll be interesting. It's our first time doing Art Toronto, so fingers crossed. But Mia and the team has been fantastic, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, getting close. Have a long to-do list I need to start checking a few things off of.
Yeah, I need to reach out to some artists.